everyone, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Sunday, September 4th of the year 2022, and this is going to be FlossTube number 87. So as always, I want to welcome you all. Welcome back to all my current viewers and subscribers, and thank you as always for your continuing support. I want to say a special thank you to anybody that wished me good luck going back to school. More on that later, if anything. I do want to welcome anyone that's visiting for the first time. I hope that you like what you see, you find a reason to stay, subscribe, and continue to follow me on my stitching journey. I hope that everybody's doing well. I hope that everybody's staying safe and sound. California is currently under a heat wave warning. It was 95 degrees Fahrenheit here in Long Beach, and it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. So we're staying indoors, so I hope that anyone that is affected, whether it be California or just any area that's been affected, I hope you guys are staying cool, staying indoors, and just power through this, stay hydrated. The last couple of weeks have been pretty crazy, very busy. Going back to school did hit me like a ton of bricks, mostly because after months and almost years, because of online learning, of just, not doing much in terms of physical activity. Going back to school was hard. I had never gone to campus before. The first time I went to campus was a few days before classes started, for a back to school event. I didn't realize how big the campus was. So, and I'm pretty much going from one end of the campus to another and then back. I'm doing like this interesting like triangle formation thing. So it's a lot of walking. I'm definitely getting my steps in. And again, we've been, in really high temperatures. So it'll be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm out there just, walking all over the place. So sometimes I come home and I don't have the energy or the time really to stitch. My stitching time has taken a nosedive, which, I expected it. It was partly why I wanted to stitch as much as I could over the summer. Having said that, there have been days where, 0 stitches have gotten done that day. So I am taking advantage of the long weekend here in the United States to try to stitch as much as I can, especially because I haven't quite gotten into the actual rhythm of school, so I don't have homework yet. I'm probably gonna have have projects and such coming up very soon, but I'll just I'll take the long weekend. Having said that, I do have a few things to show you. I have stitched somewhat. Again, the last couple of days that we had the long weekend. I have some stuff from the tail end of August that I want to show you, as well as a new start. So without further ado, let's get to the stitching. And again, I'll try to have this in a somewhat cohesive order. Also, just a disclaimer, I've already had to start this video like 6 times because the upstairs neighbors are doing something. They're washing dishes, they're cooking, they're doing something regarding the using the garbage disposal. So the joys of apartment living, if they're doing something upstairs, we hear it here. So if you hear gurgling, I apologize. Again, I've started this 6 times already, so at this point I'm done. All right, so just again, disclaimer, it might be loud. So anyway, let's just move on. First one I want to show you is a piece that I do want to get finished this year. This is a piece that I started, I think, February 2019. This is my Realistic Kit Lilac Evening. I started, this is the first experience I would have with beading, and just doing all sorts of neat little ornaments. But at the same time, that's why I fell in love with the piece. So I just wanted to go ahead and challenge myself. At this point, and going back to, there's been days where I haven't stitched at all. At this point, I've given up on the daily 30 prompt of stitching on this 30 minutes a day. but I'm still going to try to give it some love each week, because it's just one of those pieces that really does stitch very fast. This is the completed, not the completed design, but this is what I've done so far. Since the last time I showed it to you, I have added the purple highlights, purple accents to her dress. I'm trying to finish this like block by block, so whatever color I started in one block, I'll just follow the thread until it's done and then go back and just do it that way. Because again, it really is, words. There's a lot of white space in the design, in the dress specifically, so it does stitch pretty fast. Well, not a lot of white space, I guess. It looked like it, but you actually do stitch the white. Point being, though, is it does stitch very fast. It's just a matter of giving it the time it deserves, right? So yeah, so I'll try to give it at least, you know, an hour or two each week, which, you know, if you do 2 hours, I guess that's only 4 30-minute segments. So just an additional one would be for the daily 30 prompt. Because yeah, it doesn't take too much to actually see the progress on this one. And but again, you know, I've mentioned it in a few of my videos, I tend to just steer towards the patterns that are in Pattern Keeper for when I need to count my stitches. Sorry, again, apologize in advance. So hopefully I'll get more progress on her and get her done quickly. The next project I want to show you is one that I did mention in my last video. I don't think I stitched too much on her after I filmed or posted. And flash the pattern, sorry. This is Mini 1 by Cindy Nielsen from Heaven and Earth Designs. This is my oldest piece that I have. I started this on August 30th of 2018. For this one, she will become one of my focus pieces for next year. I'll talk about plans after I show you the progress, just so I have some sort of order to my videos. So this is what I've done so far. There's a little bit of sky at the top, but you know, the design kind of starts here. Basically, it's the important bit. As I mentioned, I don't think I added too many stitches, maybe like 100 or 200 stitches after I showed it to you last. I decided to go ahead and start with her hair, even though I said I was going to go further down. At that point, I'm thinking of the Q-snap moving. So I'll just go ahead and finish up her hair so I can move down and just keep going, moving my way downward towards the end of the piece. Because it's even though it's a mini version of the original one, it's still relatively big. So I do want to make a bit more effort to get more stitches in her. And you know, hopefully see a finished project by the end of next year. Okay, more on that later. The next piece I want to show you is one that I did keep stitching on for September, and I'm going to, or August, I should have said August, and I'm going to keep stitching for September as always. It's one of my focus pieces for the year. This is the Eternal Promise, another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. Artwork is by Matt Stewart. I did manage to do for the 4,500 stitches that I proposed to myself on this piece per month in August, and you know, fingers crossed, I do want to be able to do the 4,500 this month. As it is, I've already done 500 on it since the month began, and this is where I'm at. I'm still working on the area at the top, so I'll be working on more of the forest, as well as a little bit more on the border for the piece. Oops, yeah, that just came off. Okay, I'll just go ahead and make sure that I don't lose this needle. For this piece, it's really, I think I'm gonna do like more like diagonal by page. So the page break is somewhere along this line maybe. It's not that far off from this, so I know I don't have too much more to do. And then once I hit that, I'll go ahead and go back to, it's a hot mess over here, but I'll just go back to the edge here and do the next couple of pages from that side. As it is though, the halfway point in the design this way is here, so I don't, you know, it's weird. Proportions are weird. I feel like I had a lot more to do before I hit the halfway point, but here we are. It's here already. So so yeah, so I'll go ahead and keep working on this section right here. The plan is to go ahead and do 500 today and 500 tomorrow, considering again long weekend here in the United States. So that'll get me a 1500, and hopefully I can keep that up for you know, the other 2 weekends in September. As it is, I did just do the 500 in basically one single color, because again at this point I'm concerned about time, so I'm trying to do as much stitching as I can in as little time as possible. So working on single colors is very useful. So again, hopefully I can keep doing that for the next couple of weeks, and then move on to the next row of pages. So this is definitely, oops, this used to be when I was out of school. It was still summer break. I was using this as my weekday project, and then so now it's going to be backwards. It's going to be my weekend project, and everything else I'll just stitch on if I can during the week. So that's that piece. And my other focus piece for this year from Daily 30 is another Hade, all the Hades, every Hade. This is Moon Charmer. Artwork is by not Stewart, Amy Stewart. And this piece, I mean, I said I wanted to hit, I think like 20% or 40% on this. At this point, I'll just, you know, stitch as much as I can, depending on how much time I have left over. Because again, some days I really don't have much stitching time after school. But since the last time I showed it to you, well, this is what I have so far, so you can see the entire piece. Last time I showed it to you, I was working on this section up top where all the sky is. I was adding all the purples and working on the confetti stitches up there for all the stars. But since the last time I showed it to you, I went back to this area. Again, going back to trying to work with as few colors as possible so that I can do more stitching in less time. So I kept going with the black and the green. I am eventually gonna go back and fill in the other colors. I think there's maybe like 2 or 3 colors in there. There's not that many, but right now I'll just stick with the black and the green. That does eventually blend into the grass at the bottom. So as it is, some of the black comes from her hair. So this area already sees her, this little section right here. That actually is right next to her hair. So I'm not sure if I want to start on her hair or not. I may do it so that I'm not necessarily stuck doing all the grass down here, but we'll see. We'll see how much she gets done. She is my focus piece for one of my groups, so hopefully she'll be out and about more often than not. I mean, who knows? It also depends on how quickly I can get the other 500s. Because for Eternal Promise, that one since it is going to be a gift, I do want to finish it. So that's why part of me also feels like maybe I can just get those 4,500 stitches done and, you know, get it over with. But I also feel like, oh, this is the wrong bag. I also feel like I might just grow sick and tired of it if I do all 4,500 stitches at once. At least this way I'm kind of breaking it up. But so those are my two focus pieces. The third one is sea glass, which I haven't really touched. I do need to stitch on it this month. For daily 30, you have to stitch on all 3 of your pieces for the yearly event. So I do have to stitch on it. I will stitch on it this week. I'm probably gonna do that during the week so I can get that taken care of. I need to do at least 1,700 stitches on that one. I'm probably gonna do twice as much because I'm behind. That's the piece that I'm trying to do 1 section each month, and I didn't do. I'm a month behind. So if I do 2 months this month, I'll go ahead and get caught up. So that's pretty much, you know, August blending into September. One piece that I did work on this week, since it is Sampler September, I did decide to go ahead and make this one of the pieces I want to stitch on this month. This is 3 Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn. I started this because I saw it in the FlossTube for one of my friends, Laurel. I think her FlossTube here is Laurel Ann. And I started it on her birthday. So I decided I would go ahead and give it some love this September. The goal is to, going back to this real quick, the goal is to go ahead and finish this top section right here by the end of the year. So this is where we're at so far. I can go ahead and just take this off on the side so you can see see it a little better. There we go. So this is what we have. As you can see, I finished this side of the alphabet, and this is the beginning of the flower baskets that are in the center. I decided, even though the verse does start down here, I decided I'll just go ahead and leave that for later, so I can do it all at once. But yeah, I'll go ahead and finish the little flower baskets down here, and keep going with the alphabet here on the border. So I was stitching on this last night for a bit. I got quite a bit done. Hopefully, I mean, again, at this point I don't know what my stitching time is gonna be looking like, but hopefully this will get some stitches done. I walk around with my travel project in my bag, and it hasn't, poor Chopper hasn't seen the light of day in quite some time. So it's more hopeful thinking on my part, really. Because at school I do have, some days I do have a break, but again, between all the walking I have to do, getting from one place to another, half of it, half of that time is gone by the time I get to one place, or to my next class, the next area I have to go to. Another piece that I worked on this week, which I may or may not have mentioned in the last video, is Katrina by Yanni Stitcher. Since it is September, Mexican Independence Day does fall this month, so I decided it would be a good opportunity to work on this one. She was on timeout for the longest time because I messed up. So the pattern is charted so that it's stitched on white, but you can, I was gonna say you can clearly see, but it looks like the model was stitched on a beige looking fabric, and then the face paint was actually done in white. So I like that better. I decided that's what I wanted to do. However, when I first started it, I messed up the counting. I decided to start with the face paint, and I messed up the counting somehow, because I think that was marked like the middle of the chart, so that was a quote-unquote easy starting point. I ended up screwing up somehow multiple times, like multiple places, and I couldn't deal. So I put her away for the longest time. However, I decided one day my boyfriend was playing video game. He's going through The Last of Us 2. So while he was playing, I was kind of keeping him company, half watching, and then I did go ahead and frog all the stitches that I had done, which, I don't know, you can kind of see the outline. It was all this, it was a lot. It was a lot of stitches that I had to pull out. It took me a couple of hours, again, watching his video game. But then I decided, okay, I don't want to risk making the same mistake again, so I'll start somewhere different. So I decided to go ahead and start on her flower crown, and I did do these two flags up here. The colors she uses are different for the flags. She uses the oranges and the yellows that come up in the flower crown. I decided I kind of wanted to keep those colors just specifically for the crown. So I just, changed up the colors. So I made this one green, this one gray, and I'll add a pink one next to the gray, which, these are always very colorful anyway, so it's still going to, I think it's still going to look okay. But yeah, I'll go ahead and keep stitching on her. She is Pattern Keeper compatible, so I can use her for my groups, for any challenge groups that I'm participating in that I need to count stitches for, which is great. Obviously, the one thing I won't be able to count stitches for is the face paint, because that's not marked in the pattern, but I think I can survive. So, yeah, so that's one piece. The last piece I want to show you is, as I mentioned in the beginning, I did have a new start. If you follow me on Instagram, you may or may not remember that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I did a Super Mario birth sampler for a cousin that had a baby at that point. Well, now baby number 2 came along. I'm very happy, very excited. So I'm going to go ahead and do something similar. I found this chart. I want to say it's Stitch Pixel something. I'll put the link down below as always. But I did find this chart, and I decided it's a smaller piece than the first one I did. But it's going to be a mashup of pretty much like 3 different patterns. So the basic layout is going to be this one. However, I found another pattern that had the characters from Super Mario 2. And that has Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toadstool. So I'm going to be replacing Toadstool with Daisy. So I'm pretty much just going to do Peach twice over, in different colors. But because now it's a family of 4, right? So I'll go ahead and add the 4 characters. Instead of having Mario here, I'll just add the 4 characters like standing over here. And then I'll do the same thing as I did for the first piece. I'll go ahead and add the birth information up at the top. So all of this is starting with the I may actually, I'll have to double check. I think I may keep the mushroom, but I'll definitely have to get rid of this block right here, so that it fits. And then, so yeah, so all of this at the top, that's all gonna be gone. I'm not gonna be adding that. I'll be adding the birth information instead. So 3 different patterns, and one of them I already had. I purchased this one, and I did purchase the one from Super Mario Bros. 2 for the characters. So it's all legit. But yeah, it's gonna be an endeavor for sure. But I'm very excited. I'll be more than happy to do it. I did account for it for my plans this month, so I'll definitely get some And it's partially pattern keeper compatible, so it'll be easy stitching. As it is, this is how much I have done. It's about 500 stitches so far, and it was done within a day. So first day, yeah, I got very excited and I just started working on it, and it's very, again, easy stitching. I just need to make sure that I have enough space for the characters, which I counted. If I start at the middle, this is the hill right here that you see next to the Angry Koopa. I think is that Koopa? I don't remember. Pretty much as soon as the hill is done, that's when I need to start the characters for my calculations. So very excited. And again, I'll definitely be working on that a lot as well. I might just make that my my travel project, to be honest, because the plan is to just finish a section and then just fill in all the blue, because that's one thing. The pattern doesn't actually have the sky charted as blue. The designer just assumes, or the designer recommended that you stitch it on blue fabric, so the blue isn't actually charted. But I don't have blue fabric, so I'll go ahead, and I did it with the first one too. It was a lot of blue stitching, but I did it for the first one, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in the sky. So I'll just finish a section and then outline everything so that I don't overstitch and then just fill in the blue. So yeah, so you'll see that definitely. The next few videos might be a lot of the same pieces, because it's, depending on how much time I have to stitch on things, I may just focus on 2 or 3 pieces, so bear with me. Having said that, that is all I have to show you this time around, which it is I did stitch. I have been stitching. I have tried to be stitching. Weekdays are going to be just difficult for that, especially because I am going to start work this week. Sometimes I do stitch if people don't come in for tutoring, so fingers crossed I may stitch there, but technically I can also use that time for homework and such, so we'll see. But thank you for joining me today, as always. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I do try to get to the comments, and I at least try to answer all the ones that have questions. YouTube does have that function where you can filter out the ones that have questions. But yeah, as always, well, if you are in the United States, I hope you keep enjoying your long weekend. Otherwise, I hope you have a productive week. And as always, you find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, ciao.